Hi there, my dear cuddle friends, and welcome to a new episode on my channel, Long Amor. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why, if you're in a male body, you should wear a dress. Without further ado, let's wear a dress. Number 1, have your legs free. It's so pleasant. Number 2, you gain confidence very quickly. Try it out, write down in the comments below why you think you will. And number 3, for one day or for one moment, you'll be in the skin of a very famous person like Madonna or something like that, because you'll get a lot of stares. And in the next part, I will tell you how you can deal with that. So before I move on to explaining how you can deal with the stares, for example, let's move on to number 4 and number 5. So number 4, this is a very important sharing as well. So actually you realize that when you do something not mainstream, let's say, that is actually, not really a big deal, because for example, when I was a kid, I saw women wearing dresses and pants, but I also saw men actually only in pants mostly. I never got it. And so actually then when you do something like what I do today, you just notice that how strange it is just by like changing your sort of clothes. That can have such a really big impact on it. And then actually by doing that, you also learn to let it go, to just be like, who cares in the end? Because why? I don't want to be a product of a culture or rules or something like that. I want to be, free in a way, and especially free to express myself. The opposite of expression is depression. So think about it. I want to inspire men to express themselves better. Because I know for sure from all the trips I did, I'm a language learning nomad, and I can tell you in most cultures, for men it's always harder, to express themselves, to show them their fragility, to show their vulnerability, and it's so important for all of us. What I also really like is you meet a lot of very interesting people, often people who do a lot of work on themselves. Let's say when you're in a dress, also when you show your real colors, when you drop your mask. Hey, no one's perfect, I'm not perfect, we don't need to be, the nature isn't. That said, I do like to share this with you guys. Over the last few years, let's say decade, 10 years, I can definitely tell you that I am so thankful to have a solid community around me, and I'm not saying a lot necessarily, but at least really close and good friends. And one of the reasons is also just by being myself and not necessarily doing what everyone does, because honestly that's boring, and not only, often it's also not good for us. Медленно минуты уплывают вдаль, встречи с ними ты уже не жди. И хотя нам прошлого немного жаль, лучшее, конечно, впереди. From reactions you're gonna get from your surroundings, you're quickly gonna learn a lot about conformism, and especially how important it is actually to understand that everything you are, everything you do, it's just a learning. Great, nothing necessarily bad about it. That said, it is really important that you at least realize it, because that way you can also grow and then say like, hey, this is something I always do, this feels like me, but is this really me? Now, depending on the choices you make, depending on how you present yourself in this world on a daily basis, you're gonna get a very different kind of energy back from others, let's say, and from your surroundings. Now, what I always tell myself, whether it be good or bad, or whatever it is actually, it still doesn't have anything to do with me. That's why in this moment I'm in Split, Croatia, in a region where people are very religious, very traditional, and I notice it. I'll also tell you how I notice it. All in all, people are sweet and kind, I have to say. But yeah, it is really, really important to understand that. I'm reading a book now as well. It's The 4 Agreements. I'm reading it in French though. And in that book they also explain that you really grow the moment you understand when everything that's from the outside, it's not you. So if a person looks down on you, like for example today I'm in a dress, and sometimes let's say people are like looking a bit mean or angry, or they make fun, I'm like, that is nothing to do with me, that just speaks books about them, and we all have different learnings, and that's okay. I don't even judge it, because I find it rather human, and I let them be, and I move on. And for you too, move on. Whatever energy you get from people, whatever people tell you, learn from it and yeah, and then move on. Now, of course, a lot of these things you can also reach without wearing a dress, let's say when you're a male. That said, it's always important to question yourself, like, okay, it doesn't matter like what kind of person you are, what your orientation is, but it is really important to question things. And why can you, as a male, not show your legs, have them free, or even be sexy, or even have a pink dress? Pink used to be, like, depending on the century, the color of masculinity, but obviously it's not these days. But doesn't really matter. You can choose whatever is suitable for you. That said, yeah, give it some thought, my dear friends. So, number one, today I was walking with a friend of mine and she said to me like, oh my god, so many people are staring, I don't know how you do it, how you manage. And I just told her, well, just don't pay attention. At least that's what I do. And last but not least, I can also tell you that people are just also too busy with their own lives. So while they might stare and things like that, in the end, you know, yeah, they just move on. And if you do not pay, or if I don't pay too much attention to what's going on around me, you just do your things and people do their things and have their worries and whatever it is. Thank you for watching this video, says Fiona, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye!